Hi, my name is Steven.
It is I, Kevin.
And I am David, the eldest champion.
And we are the Brothers Born.
We invite you to bear witness as this most unlikely of throwdowns is about to commence. Welcome back, everybody. We're down to another throwdown. Down for another. That sounds weird. Down for another throwdown. Anyway, got another throwdown coming at you. I am the judge today, and we got Dave and Steve as our competitors. I'm gonna go ahead and get right into this. So, if you guys recall, I did kind of give you a stipulation that your character had to be like an archer type character. So, and it couldn't be Hawkeye. So let's see how we go from there. Which one do you want to start off?
Since I won the last two battles I was involved with, I choose that Steven goes first.
Fair enough.
All right, that's fine.
So I took the archer stipulation. I didn't want to do someone that, like, I know you were probably both thinking I was going to choose Legolas because I named my daughter Arwen, and I'm a nerd. But so I made a point not to choose Legolas.
Oh man, I totally thought you were picking.
Yeah, I totally thought you were going to do that one too.
I wanted to make a point not to. So here we go. My character, he's sort of like a milk dud. He starts off kind of tough, but as you keep going, he becomes pretty sweet. He is first seen as a brash, impulsive redneck, but you begin to see a slightly softer side of him as the series he's in develops, and he's quickly become a fan.
Daryl Dixon.
It is Daryl Dixon, correct?
But continue.
So
I don't know who that is.
So I'm going to be straight up.
How come you guys know so many more of these characters than I do? I don't know who that is.
As soon as you said redneck and then softer side, I was like, yeah, it's Daryl.
So I am not the biggest fan of The Walking Dead. I'll be straight up. I've only seen the first season. So to any of our listeners who are diehard fans, my bad if I misrepresent this guy.
Isn't that show about zombies?
Well, in the lore of Walking Dead, there are no zombies. They're called walkers. But yeah, it's zombies.
That shows you how much I know about the show.
So he's from The Walking Dead, but interestingly enough, he was created for the TV show. He was not a character in the comic book. They made him for the TV show. And it's interesting because he's like I don't know. I'm not big in the Walking Dead fan base, but it seems like he's a fan. Like, people love this guy. He has his own Walking Dead series now. Like, the main guy from Walking Dead eventually dies or disappears, and then he comes in and he becomes the main character. So he's a pretty big deal in the world of the Walking Dead. He has a brother named Merle. So Daryl and Merle, and they're both kind of rednecks. That, from what a little research I did, they kind of had not the greatest upbringing. Merle, his older brother, was in and out of prison a lot, and they were I think they're in foster homes or something, and they kind of learned to live on their own as best as they could. And thankfully, in a way, they did, because at least Daryl, not so much Merle, but Daryl is pretty beast at fighting walkers or zombies. So, as you will see when I get into his different skills and abilities.
All right. Yeah. Shall I proceed?
Yes.
Okay, now my character, unfortunately, I'm not as creative as the two of you. So you'll probably know within the first thing I say who my character is.
Kevin
but I would really like
to
What?
Kevin knew mine in like a second.
I know. I still don't really know who yours is, but I'd really you can guess right away, but I'd still like to tell you the background because
of course.
But I'll start by saying there's evidence that this guy really existed.
Robin Hood.
Robin Hood. Yep. His stories have become exaggerated over the years. So we don't know for sure if he was based on a real person, if he was a real person, if he was just made up. But his stories have been told about him for almost 1,000 years now. A lot of his stories come from medieval ballads sung by troubadours back in the old times. So he cares about people, the common people. He's a symbol of power and rebellion. And these tales about him, they they're a form of popular history with some historical evidence behind them. Um, but like I said, we don't know for sure that if he was real or not. His stories have become part of celebrations in Britain's May Day festivities. He's become a character kind of like Santa Claus. He presides over parties. He represents rebellion. Let's see. He is referred to actually in 4 different Shakespeare plays and is in Sir Walter Scott's Ivanhoe, which is where we get most of our ideas about him, most of our stories about him. King Henry VIII, who we all know had a lot of interesting, he actually had over, I forget how many recorders he had, but he had hundreds of recorders. And he had lots of wives, we know that too. But King Henry VIII often dressed up as Robin Hood in the early 1500s just for kicks and giggles. So
No, dude,
even
one of his wives liked that. They're like, "Ooh, I like when he dressed up
maybe
wears
she
I don't
did,
think any of his wives liked
but
him, but
That's a
just to
weird kink of
celebrate,
his.
it's like his Halloween costume or something. Just decided to dress up as Robin Hood all the time. His names include Robert, Robin Hood, Robin Hood, Robin of Locksley, Robin Hood, and several others. Stories of him are found all over England and even in Scotland. His favorite spot, of course, was Sherwood, where he hung out with his boys in the forest. Um, he was a huge thorn to the prince and also to the sheriff of Nottingham. He leads an outlaw gang of oppressed underdogs. Um, and he gets his stories. Some of them, they consider him, he's considered kind of like a pagan god, a folk magician, a freedom fighter, a crusader, a violent outlaw, and of course he loves green. Um, so yeah, there's just I can't really give you a whole bunch more background that you guys don't already know, but because a lot of it goes into his abilities too. But yeah, my character is Robin Hood, and I'm kind of happy you didn't choose the Legolas from Lord of the Rings because I think I would definitely lose. But I feel like this battle might be a little bit more evenly matched. I don't know. We'll see.
I'll
what
say, I think if those two, if Daryl Dixon and Robin Hood existed at the same time, I really feel like Daryl Dixon would be one of his like. I think they would be
Possibly.
friends.
Possibly.
I can
Because
see
they're
it. They're both definitely got like this sort of good ability to like survive in like a wilderness sort of
Oh, I forgot to
situation.
mention too. I didn't. You guys probably knew this already, but he appeared in DC Comics. Robin Hood did even
oh
before
yeah.
Superman in 1938. So I didn't know he was in the DC comic
And then
book world.
he inspired the Green Arrow,
Yeah,
probably
I didn't know. I didn't
Oliver
realize
Queen.
the two were related because I don't know DC Comics that well. But
I I honestly thought one of you might have picked the Green Arrow, or
I
was it?
almost did once I figured out Robin Hood inspired the Green Arrow, but I didn't. I stuck with Robin Hood.
Well, this is a great one. I'm excited to see how this pans out. Let's take a quick break.
A wise man once said, "Cash rules everything around me. It's all about the money. Dollar bills, y'all." Now, the Brothers Born are definitely not part of the Wu-Tang Clan. But the sentiment, well, it's still true. When it comes down to it, making content that we do can have some costs when it comes to equipment and certain fees. This is where you come in as a listener. No obligation here, but if you do like what we have and you would like to contribute a little bit of funds our way so we can improve our content, there's 3 different tiers of payment which you can use. The first one is a simple, cheap tier of 99 cents. Not too bad. Next tier would be $4.99, or if you're straight balling, $9.99 for the third tier. Now, there's no obligation here. We're going to do the content either way, but we definitely would appreciate a little help. Thank you in advance, and we look forward to providing more content for you.
All right, go ahead, Kevin.
All right, so we're back from our quick break. So we've got Robin Hood versus Daryl Dixon. This is going to be kind of interesting. We haven't done any Robin Hood characters. We did do a Walking Dead character before. We did Rick Grimes before. But yeah, so let's see how that goes. This is going to be interesting.
So the stipulation was one of their weapons had to be a projectile, non-gun kind of thing, like a crossbow or bow and arrow, slingshot. I went for the crossbow angle. Daryl Dixon is known for his crossbow. The dude's got mad survival skills, in obviously because he's surviving the zombie apocalypse, and I really think his skills and abilities really save the group. a lot of the time. And like even in season 1, he's the guy who goes out and hunts food. He's the guy that gathers supplies because he just knows, because of his life. I think he kind of has been forced to live in a situation where he's adaptable. And he is a big. The apocalypse sucks for everyone, but it sucks less for Daryl because he has a lot of like skills in nature and hunter gathering type things. I'm gonna talk. I guess I'll get straight into the crossbow. There's other things I want to talk about, but the whole thing is the bow, right? So, he uses 3 different ones on the show, but there's the Horton Scout HD 125, the Striker Strike Zone 380, and the PSE Fang 350. I don't know anything about those, but um, but they're sweet crossbows. And I guess after the show, the Amazon sales on them like spiked because people like wanted to get the same crossbow that Daryl Dixon has. But he's got mad skills with the bow and arrow. He is very precise. It's kind of ridiculous sometimes how he can shoot arrows. He like in zombies' eyes while he's sitting down, like on the ground, and just like his ability to aim without really aiming is pretty awesome. And his crossbow is his main thing. So much, in fact, that there's a point in time where there's an arrow in his leg that he like tumbled down a hill or something, and an arrow got stuck in his leg. My boy rips the arrow out of his leg, puts it in the crossbow, fires it at a walker, and he smokes the walker. So
man.
not only is he got great, tremendous aim, while also in tremendous pain, he could endure ripping an arrow out of his leg. That's pretty awesome.
That is good. That is good.
I have a few other things I want to talk about. Are we going all in right now, or are we just? Why don't I stop it there for now and see what you got?
All right, I'll see what I can do here. I'll start with his basic abilities, Robin Hood's, and then I'll kind of expound on some of those. I don't know how you want to break it up. Just cut me off if you want, and then we'll go back to Steven, but it's up to you. So just as far as an overall picture of what Robin Hood can do, I know we're focused on the arrow abilities, which he has pretty much all the arrow abilities, but I'm going to give you a little background on the rest of him too, and we'll get into the arrows for sure. He's very agile. He can outmaneuver his opponents. He's very good at the art of ambushing people. Like he can sneak around, sneak up on someone without them even knowing. He's also very intelligent. I don't know how much formal education he had, but he's very intelligent, especially in the ways of battle and strategies that you need for battle. He is a skilled at the art of disguise. Like he's so skilled at the art of disguise that the sheriff of Nottingham realizes that this might be a way I might be able to catch Robin Hood. So he always holds these archery contests, and of course Robin Hood goes to him in different disguises and usually wins the contest and gets out of there and no one knows who he is, which is kind of weird because you would think the same guy keeps winning all these contests. I don't know who he is, but we can't find Robin Hood. And actually, in some versions of Robin Hood, he does finally get caught that way. As there's the Disney version is one that comes to mind, a big archery competition where they finally realize who he is, but he's able to escape because of his merry men rescue him and stuff. But he's very good at disguise. I'm going to leave the bow part and arrow part to the side just for one more second here. He's a skilled woodsman. Like much like Daryl Dixon is in touch with his environment. Robin Hood lives in the Sherwood Forest, and he's very good. And see that these characters are very similar, I think. He's very good at using his environment. He knows his way around the woods. You can't really catch him when he's in the woods. He's a skilled swordsman on top of being good at bow and arrow archery.
Oh, he's a swordsman too. I forgot about that. Yeah.
He's a swordsman. He's really good with a quarterstaff. He actually knows martial arts as well in some versions of him, which I'm using those versions.
Karate.
So kind of, I don't know, maybe some kind of medieval martial arts. I'm not sure, but
like some HEMA action going.
But his weapons, Steven talked about weapons. I'll tell you about Robin Hood's weapons. First of all, he has a regular sword, I guess a sword, whatever, medieval type sword.
Sword.
He has a scimitar, which is like a shorter curved sword.
Oh yeah.
He has a quarterstaff. He has his regular bow and arrow, which is, gosh, I can't Hang on. It's called a recurve bow, I think, and he got this originally from his father. But there's also times where he uses a longbow, and his arrows, a lot of them are self-made, so he probably doesn't have the technology that Daryl Dixon has, but he knows how to make an arrow in a way that it will get the job done. So that's a little bit about his weapons. Do you want me to tell you more about? Do you want me to go a little bit more into it? You want to hear more?
Let me kind of throw in some of Daryl's other weapons. So he has the crossbow. That's his main thing. My man has knives, and anything he can get his hands on. Basically, in The Walking Dead, in the show, my dude uses weapons, improvised weapons all over the place. There's a point in time he takes a chain, decapitates 3 zombies with it. A chain, just decapitates the zombies with it. There's a point in time using an M16. He has an rocket propelled grenade
Robin Hood
launcher.
doesn't have an M16 or a rocket launcher.
So one time this was pretty dope. There's some bunch of walkers. He like pours a bunch of fuel into this like pond or river or something. And he fires the rocket propelled grenade into it and catches the whole thing on fire to prevent the walkers from getting to his people.
It didn't do them much good, but yes.
Yes. So it's still pretty awesome. He throws a grenade down the like barrel of a tank to blow up the tank. He fought zombies with a wood stick. He killed some zombies with a wood stick, man. Like, talk about the woods. He like takes it. He does it a couple times actually. One of them's like something a little kid would use as a play sword. He kills a zombie with it.
That's not really that great of a feat with zombies, though, is it? Aren't they more easy to destruct?
Well, what I'm saying is though, he can turn his whole environment is a weapon. He can take anything.
Robin Hood can work a stick, though.
He can work a stick. That's true. That's true.
Little John taught him how.
He murders this dude with a lead pipe. This is like big fat dude, and he's like, so Daryl was imprisoned by this guy's group, and he escapes, and the dude's like, "Hey man, I'll just let you go. I'll just let you go." And Daryl, no mercy, just bam, bam, lead pipes him down. He also uses medical tools, surgical tools to fight zombies. He's in a hospital or a morgue or something like that. Some zombies are coming at, get him with the scalpel, get him with the forceps, whatever, done. Yeah, so what I liked, he fights, obviously kills a bunch of walkers. He'll use the walkers to kill humans. There's a point in time where he gets on a motorcycle and kind of like baits these walkers to follow him, hundreds of them. And they're like following him. He has an army of zombies essentially. And then he like brings them into these other guys. So he'll like put guys in situations where they can't avoid being eaten. So he's just got, like I said, he's very good at finding his surroundings and turning them to his advantage to accomplish what he needs to accomplish. So from surgical tools to rocket propelled grenades.
So he's very resourceful.
Yes,
I respect
absolutely.
that. I respect that. Robin Hood is resourceful as well.
Oh, he even slammed a car trunk down to kill a zombie once. Zombies in the trunk.
That's what I'm saying. Zombies aren't super hard to kill. I mean, there's a lot of them, and if they bite you, you're in trouble, whatever. But they're not always that hard to kill.
I
Especially
understand
if there's not very many of them around you.
And I thought
those are all still. I still respect everything you just said, but obviously, zombies are a little bit easier to kill than some people think.
Yes, that's true. I mean, I will say the zombies aren't like thinking on their own. They're not intelligent like Robin Hood, so it would be a little bit more difficult for him. I'll admit that. But
Robin Hood has merry men too. But
yes, well, Daryl Dixon has a whole team of other survivors. I just
like to say merry men. Well, I don't know. I'll come back with a little bit more on that. I don't want to interrupt you. I feel like on these previous throwdowns.
Go ahead.
But I also realize this because I'm superior. But I'm trying my best to be humble here. But Robin Hood, at one point, he was King Richard's private guard during the Crusades. He's a highly skilled warrior. His fighting style is based on cunningness and stealth. He's actually got great speed too. He is good at hand-to-hand combat. Because he's good with his swords, good with his bow. He's a highly skilled warrior. He often fights many people at once. So I know Daryl Dixon, right?
Yes.
Daryl Dixon. Okay, sorry. He fights a lot of zombies at one time. Robin Hood's very good at fighting a lot of people at once too. He's used to being outnumbered. So So, and his let's see, before I want to save the archery stuff for the end, I gotta make sure I cover everything I want because I've got random notes over here all around here real quick. But um he leads a gang, he's a good leader because he leads a gang of oppressed underdogs. Um let's see. Now when it comes to his bow skills, let me just start by in real archery, there's a maneuver named after Robin Hood. It's called the Robin Hood. Do either of you know what if you do a Robin Hood in an archery competition, do either of you know what that is?
Is that when you like shoot an arrow in the bullseye, then shoot another arrow and it like splits the arrow that's in the bullseye?
Kinda. Yeah, sort of. The Robin Hood is when you I don't know if it's your own arrow all the time necessarily, but it's when you shoot an arrow and it's right in the middle and it splits the opponent's arrow.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Or the person you're going against, whatever. And he does that in the Disney version of Robin Hood.
I
And
remember that,
also,
yeah.
I think in Robin Hood Men in Tights, I think he does that as well. And in Men in Tights, Robin Hood, one of the times he pulls back the bow, there's like 6 or 7 arrows on it. That's pretty cool too.
Oh yeah, I remember
But
that.
anyways, just a little bit. So just so you know how hard this maneuver is to accomplish, I'm going to give you like actual facts on it. It has a 1 in 4,000 chance of happening. 1 in 4,000. Because you think about the target, usually in archery competitions, the target has a diameter of 132 centimeters, right? And you stand.
Hold on.
You
Did you
stand,
know that before you
no, I didn't.
you just
But
quizzed Kevin and I like it says the diameter of 132
I looked it
centimeters,
up.
right?
I thought you
Like
guys
we
would be
would
impressed.
confirm you could say whatever you wanted, and we would, yeah, dude, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, I looked this up.
Didn't Mythbusters do an episode where they tried to get the Robin Hood maneuver work and it never did? I'm pretty sure
What
they
was
did.
it?
Mythbusters.
Oh, maybe, but it does. It says it has a 1 in 4,000 chance of happening. The target is 122 inches diameter, but the center circle is about 12.2. I'm sorry, 122 centimeters, not inches. The
Yeah.
center circle is 12.2 centimeters in diameter. And when you're in this competition, you usually stand 70 meters away. So you can see that tiny, tiny spot that you have to get it in, and you have to split the opponent's arrow. Robin Hood does this easily all the time. It's not just
That's just part of
like
his.
yeah, that's what he does. So he's very skilled with the bow. He pretty much never misses a target. As far as you gave me some things Daryl did that were pretty savage. Robin Hood, one time he cut off the heads, or he likes to cut off the heads of his enemy with his swords, and then he
Oh, I
sticks
did
them
not
on
know
his
that.
bow. He sticks them on his bow and kind of collects them sometimes for
Man,
to show how many
trophies.
people he's killed. Um,
That is savage, bro.
so that's one thing I didn't know Robin Hood did. He's an assassin hunter hybrid. Yeah, he's pretty much his skills. He's so good with the bow that his stories of him have persisted to almost over 1,000 years. And there's still several things that he can do that other archers can't do.
I feel like every 5 years or so, there's some new version of Robin Hood getting released somewhere, whether it's like a Disney movie or like a TV
Well,
show
obviously
or
that happens
something.
because he's such a powerful warrior, strong archer that there's so many stories that can be written about him.
So I recognize his place in like it's kind of like when we had Captain Hook versus Chase. Like as far as like character value, Robin Hood all the way. It's like Captain Hook was, way cooler than Chase. Though I will say Daryl Dixon's cooler than Chase. But I feel like your character, as far as like culturally, not modern culturally, but like around the world, he's got a greater thing going on there than Daryl Dixon. However, Daryl Dixon was like he started off as a secondary character and his fan base created him into like the main character, and now he has his own show, which I have not watched. I'm not sure if Kevin has at all, or if
I have not. I just found out about it. He's in Paris or something weird like that. I don't know anything about
so
it.
he's a traveler,
Well, he'll run into Robin Hood in Paris then.
But Daryl Dixon, he as far as modern pop culture, he's pretty big deal. I know you haven't watched Walking Dead, but I bet if I showed you a picture, you'd be like, oh yeah, that guy. Like
dude, so is Ryan from Ryan's World, but
no, we're not
modern
comparing
pop culture, it's not always the best.
Stop.
So they're not always the best characters because I mean it's modern pop culture.
But you see how far his influence is, though, is what I'm trying to say. People love Daryl. He's a big deal.
Robin Hood survived the tales of Robin Hood survived almost 1,000 years.
So let me tell you a little bit about how else Daryl is also savage. My man can interrogate and torture people pretty good as well. there's a guy. I have not watched the whole series, so I can't give you the full details of what it is. But there's a guy who has some information about another group, survivor group, and that Daryl and his group needs. So he takes this dude into a barn and like tries to get information of him, and then he tortures him until he gets the information necessary. Then when he comes back with his friends, Daryl's back with his buddies. Like, how'd you get the information? He's like, oh, we just had a little chat, and there's like blood all on his hands. Like, my dude, he can torture when he needs to, but he also has a really big soft side. He's saved innocent people several times. There's a family getting attacked by walkers, a baby's about to be eaten, and he's like, no, we gotta stop this. He goes up and rescues the family. His brother Merrill's like, what are you doing, man? He's like, there's a baby. Like, he's got a soft side as well. He cares about people and his friends. He's very loyal to his friends. He takes a beating for them. So, he the governor's men, I think one of the villains is the governor. I think it's the governor. Maybe it's Negan. I don't remember. But they're getting ready to kill his buddies. He's like, these are good people. You don't have to kill them. And he ends up
nice
like he like takes a beating for them. Like they just beat the snot out of Daryl just because he's trying to like save his group. In The Walking Dead, there's a big emphasis on like cliques and groups. Like all these little factions pop up of people trying to survive the zombie.
Robin Hood doesn't have a clique. He's for all the people. But go ahead.
Sorry. Not the rich people.
Well,
but
yeah, who would be though? I don't think Daryl seems like he'd be for the rich people.
So money doesn't even matter in this world because
money doesn't exist anymore.
I know, but if it did, Daryl seems like he would still want to throw down the man, just like Robin Hood. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think they would be. I think they'd be comrades. Honestly, he's not really a merry man, but I think they would be.
So for that, I can come back with like Robin Hood can interrogate and get things what he wants from people too. Like think about the Disney version when he was his disguise. He dressed up like a gypsy woman.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And he fooled the king, man. And he stole the king's, but he can do things without even having to resort to violence sometimes. He stole the king's rings just by pretending like he worshiped the king and kissing the king, and he took the gems out of the rings based on his kiss. He didn't even have to fight the prince. His disguise was so good, the prince couldn't even tell that it was Robin Hood taking away his jewels at that point. And also, talk about, I know you can't really use that because it's the Disney version of Robin Hood. Because when I use that, all I think about is this little fox running around fighting Daryl Dixon. I'm trying to avoid.
Oh yeah, there you go, man. So yeah, he's a master hunter, dude. He's a fox and nothing. He's got that with the crossbow.
Well, Robin Hood's a master hunter too, but also cares about people. That's Robin Hood's whole shtick, man. He robs from the rich to give to these poor people that are living in the woods or common people that get no respect and get their lives taxed out of them. He does all he can. He risks his life to help these people, give them the money they need to survive, give them the resources they need to survive. He cares about all the people, the common people. And I don't know, like he knows how to lead others to help them in his cause. And so he's a good leader. People will follow Robin Hood, and that's his whole deal. So I'm glad Daryl Dixon saved one little baby, which is good.
He saved more than one example.
I would hope anyone,
people a lot.
I would hope anyone would do that, but I'm glad he took time, even though he probably did it just because he wanted more of an excuse to kill more zombies, because it seems like he likes to do that. But I'm glad he took time to save a baby. That was Robin Hood's whole life, though. He dedicated his whole life to helping people.
So Daryl Dixon he is focused on, preserving the people in his world at the moment, but he also is trying to fight. I'm going to give you a little quote. I know we're not in the quote game yet, but
I don't have any quotes today.
Daryl Dixon quote, "We fight for our future. We don't fight for revenge," end quote. Which I'm not entirely sure. I think at some points he does fight for revenge.
Yeah, I'm sure. He gets a lot of revenge going.
But but you just say that he has good wisdom. Anyway, let me talk about something else here real quick. Another softer side of Daryl Dixon, softer but also edgier. There's a character named Dale who gets bit by a walker. So in The Walking Dead, Dave, if you die, you automatically become a zombie. It's just what happens.
I thought that's how.
No, like you, even if you don't get
zombies
bit,
kill people, but if they bite them, they turn them into zombies. I thought that's how it works.
Well, it does both. So if you get bit by a zombie, you turn into a zombie, or if you just die normally, you come back as a zombie. It's part of the way the virus or whatever it is works in it. I don't know, but one of their comrades, his name's Dale, super nice guy. I'm really sad this happened to him. But he got bit by a zombie, and he knows what's going to happen. I mean, I can imagine like being bit by a zombie and just knowing what's gonna. Oh, it'd be terrible. So Daryl, he's like,
Yeah, that would suck.
"I'm sorry, brother." And shoots him. Mercy kills him in the head, so his friend doesn't have to turn. And
So kind of like Will Smith does with his dog in I Am Legend.
yeah, I suppose so. Yes, you could put it that way. And that must have been hard, but like no one else in his team could do it. Daryl could. Like he has the ability to do the tough things when no one else can. To make
So
the
he'll
tough
just kill his
calls.
friends, is what you're saying. Okay,
No,
Robin Hood's
no.
not that. Robin Hood's
There's
loyal.
no cure. He in a sense he saved his friend from turning into a walker by putting him out of his misery.
Well, everybody has their different perspective on things. So, but if you want to spin killing his friend into a good thing, then sure, go ahead.
So he has the ability to make hard calls. That's kind of what I was going for there. So
Robin Hood is a symbol of power and rebellion.
let me give you. Well, I guess what other argument? I don't really have much else to put.
Well,
to
I have a
here.
couple more things here. Oh, I do have some quotes when we get there, but
Okay.
Basically, I just want Robin Hood is he never kills his friends. He does all he can to save his friends, which doesn't sound like Daryl does that. Sounds like he blasts.
He does though. He does save his. This guy was gonna die anyway. He'll do whatever.
This is a situation where by killing his friend, he actually saved his friend.
I'm not focused on that part of it. I'm focused on.
So Daryl Dixon does whatever he needs to save his friends. He like.
Okay.
So
Tell me a little bit about his leadership abilities. I know we don't always use resources. I'm just curious.
So
Like, is he able to get people to follow him? Does he have leadership abilities? Like,
yeah,
I would say yes. So
he does.
In the beginning, he leads by.
You're not allowed to say anything, Judge. Shut up.
And in the beginning of the series, he leads by following because Rick is kind of the leader of the group, and he doesn't like Rick at first. You could tell there's some tension there, but he ends up following him and ends up being very loyal to Rick.
They get like a bromance thing going. I don't know.
But as the show develops, he also becomes a leader in his own right, by leading the group. They go from different, like at one point they're living in a prison, one point they're living in a housing complex. Like he is a very important figure, and yes, they often lead him, follow him.
And if it came to hand-to-hand combat, I feel like I'm doing more of a judge. I didn't mean that, but like
I will say that. Sorry, I will say this about Daryl is he does have some capabilities of leading, but he's never really the leader.
No, he is not. That's true.
So he's always like the second in command, so to speak.
So like Little John.
Yeah, like Little John.
Okay, so like Robin Hood would be the one in charge if these two work together, is what you're saying.
Yes,
okay.
yeah, absolutely.
Just wanted to make that point. Okay. Also,
hey, number 2 is not the worst though when it comes to that situation. It doesn't mean he's any less.
I know. I just wanted to make a point that Robin
it takes a lot of skill to follow.
Okay, that's fair enough. Can he hand-to-hand combat? Just if it came to that, Robin Hood is very good at hand-to-hand combat as well. Sounds like you said like knives and resources and stuff. I guess he's got skills there too.
Yeah, I'd say so. I wouldn't say he's trained the way Robin Hood is.
Okay.
But he also he can take a beating for sure. He gets beat up a lot, but he keeps going. He doesn't back down. And he, like I said, very adaptable. He can use his environment. Chains, medical tools, lead pipes, whatever it takes. He'll kind of not like Legolas takes the arrow, stabs a guy, then fires it. I don't think he does that, but he'll like he rips the arrow out of his leg and fires it. So, in fact, there's another time a knife is in his leg. He removes it from his leg, and
does he fire that too?
No, but he kills with it after he takes it out of his leg.
Man, dude probably I don't think he'd be able to do anything. His legs seem too busted up.
That dude get pretty wrecked, actually.
So Robin Hood has some good legs. He's very agile and quick, man. His speed is one of his assets. So you can outmaneuver opponents. Very agile. You got some quotes?
All right, I do.
You want to move to, or
I don't have any other skills I really want to talk about yet. Okay. So, or actually, I'm good on skills. But here's a quote. Quote, "Some people just got so much evil in their hearts and they hide it, like they're wearing a mask or something." End quote. I just think that's kind of a cool, nice quote there.
Okay. That's a good one. But remember, Faint hearts never won the fair lady. That's not really great
No,
fighting
it's
quote,
not-
but it's
Quote, I may be the one walking away, but you're the one who's leaving. Again. End quote.
rob from the rich, give to the poor. I steal from the rich to feed the poor. We fight for what is right, not what is easy. Justice is our aim, not personal gain.
Man, that sounds like poetry.
Well,
Well, I mean,
Shakespeare did.
yeah,
And, that's another
it is.
Shakespeare, the greatest poet many people consider in authors in history, and he has 4 stories where Robin Hood's in them. So,
Man,
yeah,
that's pretty cool.
I did say that earlier.
Yeah.
Robin Hood did, or Shakespeare didn't write anything about Daryl Dixon. Just saying.
That's true. He didn't.
But maybe.
Right.
I mean,
So,
yeah. Okay, go ahead.
No, I don't know. Like Kevin, what do you want? Where do you want to take?
Dude, I don't even know, man.
Here.
You want to create a battle? Do you want to? Do you have your?
I don't know, man.
I think
first of all, where are they fighting? I will say
Sherwood Forest.
Sure, Forest.
One more thing before you make a call. I talked a little bit about this, but I want to bring this back into. I feel like it may have been forgotten about. I mentioned this one time, Daryl, he'll use zombies to his advantage. He'll like corral them or bait them into situations where his zombies are his weapon. So I'm going to say he could do that here in a sense that he can gather zombies into helping him take down Robin Hood. I know you're not supposed to use resources, but zombies aren't really a resource. He's not using his other human friends.
How are they not a resource though?
Because
I feel like zombies weren't in England 1,000 years ago though. So
well, it doesn't have. We can't. It doesn't have to be a fight in England because
what I'm saying is we can't really use either one of their home worlds, so to speak, because then the Daryl would automatically win because he's got access to like rocket launchers and such, whereas those things weren't invented yet in Robin Hood's time.
I feel like Robin Hood could use those if it came down to it.
I want to point out a lot of the weapons he uses them one and done. He does keep the RPG, and he does keep a pistol. Like those things are always available to him. It's not like the chains, he kills zombies and throws them away. Yes, but some of this, he doesn't just have a crossbow. He has a gun at his hand.
Can he disguise himself though?
I can't think of any situation. Well, one time
in a situation where he would have to.
There's one time, I'm not sure if he was part of this or not, but other people in The Walking Dead will sometimes do this whole like put zombie parts on themselves to blend in if the zombies don't.
Yeah, no, yeah, he's done that. I think he's the one that thought of that first.
So he'll put like zombie guts on himself or something, and then they can walk with the zombies, and the zombies don't go after him because they think they're just one of their own. So that's
kind of how Robin Hood. Okay, Robin Hood does that too. So they both have that.
That's true. I do remember one of the great stories of Robin Hood because I've read a lot of Robin Hood stories where he did in fact put dead bodies on him to.
Really?
No.
Oh, I was like, dang.
No, I didn't mean Robin Hood puts dead body parts on them. I meant they both disguise themselves and put themselves around the enemy, and the enemy doesn't always know is what I'm.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I just thought the thought of Robin Hood putting body parts on him just was kind of funny to me. I don't know.
But yeah, I think this is. I don't know. I'm not the judge, Kevin. This is a tough one. This is a tough one.
I don't even know where to go with this one, man. I really don't, because I feel like I don't know, man. They have like the same skill set. They really do.
Well, you did give us archers, bro.
This is your fault because you said you wanted archery.
No, I know, but I mean, I'm figuring like if you had like, for example, if you had like Daryl Dixon against like I don't know Legolas, so it would be like a little bit different. But I don't know, man. This one's pretty tough. Oh, I'm dropping stuff here. That's cool.
Remember, Robin Hood has a maneuver named after him that Daryl Dixon probably can't even do.
That's true, but Daryl Dixon
4,000
was supposed to be a minor character and ended up being like the main character.
And he's not even in the source material. That's how good
he's not. So it's I don't know. I don't know, man. This is really hard. I want to say it's a tie like it did first time, but I feel like that's a cop out.
That's what you always do. Olympic archers, some of them probably can't even perform a Robin Hood, but Robin Hood does it like second nature.
As I was saying, I'm not going to because I feel like we each are only given one tie before we can announce a tie again.
I don't care if you use a tie again, really.
but I really want to because they are like almost the same.
I don't even know. I can't even really paint the scene where they would fight. Like you could put it in a medieval setting and make medieval zombies.
That would be pretty sweet.
Like the Crusades, instead of going to fight people in the name of the church or whatever, they're crusading to kill zombies or something.
Dude, that has to be a movie if it's not already. It should be. For sure. Oh
See,
man,
I
this was
think
fun,
though,
man.
let's say Robin Hood dresses up like a woman, and I'm sure
That's
Daryl
the first place
Dixon,
you go with
Daryl
this.
Dixon in his lonely times, because all he has around him are zombies and a brother named Merle. He hasn't
No,
had
he
the
has
company
to.
of a lady in some time.
No,
He's
he's
taking some liberties there, dude.
yeah,
He sees
he
Robin Hood,
doesn't
and Robin Hood kind of tricks him, and then through his cunning,
see the thing is I mean I've
convenient.
actually seen I haven't seen his series, but like the original Walking Dead series, I've actually seen all of it, and that's not something that would really work, like using feminine ways against Daryl wouldn't work for him.
I don't think Robin Hood would really do that, anyways.
I don't either, but it's a funny thing to think about. Robin Hood all of a sudden, we're like, didn't he put like watermelons or something in his shirt to like?
Yes.
Disney probably wouldn't get away with that today, man.
No, probably not. Robin Hood's probably like walking around. He's like, "Hey, baby," and then like Daryl's like, "What?"
Daryl's like, "Oh, a lady."
No, dude. He'd shoot those melons with his crossbow.
Oh man, this one's tough, man. Why did I do this to
But like,
myself?
I feel like there's a lot of different. Like, I feel like they're evenly matched. If you take out the modern advantages that Daryl has, because obviously, if you got a grenade launcher or whatever, all those stuff.
Yeah,
Robin
that's
Hood
what
would
I'm
beat
saying.
them.
If you take out the modern,
So
like they
if you
really
want to
are
go that way,
evenly
then
matched.
I'll accept my defeat. But if you just ability versus ability, like when it comes to their ability to use a bow or crossbow or whatnot. So I don't know, Robin Hood. Even hand-to-hand combat, I feel like they're sort of evenly matched. Although Robin Hood does have the martial arts thing and the speed going for him that maybe.
Well, I will say when archery wise, I think they are pretty evenly matched. Hand-to-hand combat, Robin Hood would have an advantage on account that he has a sword and Daryl has knives, which the sword's always going to beat knives.
And a quarterstaff.
And a quarterstaff, yeah.
And martial art.
But if Daryl,
Martial arts, don't forget the
maybe
martial
not the
arts.
sword, but like the
Don't forget the martial arts.
If Daryl had those things, he could probably adequately use them. Maybe not the sword. I don't think
He could pick up a stick,
sword.
has a quarterstaff.
They should just battle. What do you think? Should they just battle with quarterstaffs instead?
I don't think it would matter though. Jeez, man, this is really tough. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I gotta say,
tie. I don't care.
I gotta call the tie. I have to. I don't want to. I don't. I really desperately want to find a winner here, but I just can't. I
Shucks.
can't.
Man. Well,
because every time you guys would talk, I was like, "Yeah, man, Daryl's got this." I was like, "Oh no, Robin's got this." No, Daryl's got this. No,
sorry.
Like literally every time you guys would talk, I would switch it. So
let's do this real quick. We'll call it a tie, but give me some different areas where one might have in your mind. Is there a situation where Robin Hood would win or where Daryl would win? Like,
I think in hand-to-hand combat, Robin Hood would win.
Yeah. You did say that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. As far as when Daryl would win, I think just like Robin Hood is very resourceful, but I think Daryl is slightly more resourceful. And like, yeah, I would say, and he has this crossbow, which, that's hard to say. You know what? Yeah, no, I'm still gonna say it's a tie, but yeah.
So I have one more question. Like the environment they're typically in. Like I haven't seen Walking Dead, but to me, when I think about it, it seems like it's in a desolate, like desert type situation. No?
Sometimes it's just like
sometimes
it's. I mean, Robin Hood's in like lush forests all the time. So are they even in the same environment?
No, yeah, they're like in the same environment. That's what. It's like because Walking Dead, most of it takes place in like Georgia and Virginia, so most of it's in like the woods and things like that. And Daryl's like super resourceful. He's like a great huntsman. He's like expert at that. You know, he knows nature. He knows things around him. I do think Daryl would be better at like tracking his enemies than Robin Hood. Like I think he'd be better at tracking Robin Hood than Robin Hood would be at tracking him.
Well, Robin Hood has the art of ambush too. Like I guess
so does Daryl.
Home field advantage,
so does Daryl.
Though. Like I feel like Robin Hood knows his surroundings a little better because Daryl seems like he's going in several different surroundings where Robin Hood kind of stays. I don't know.
Let's put him on Mustafar.
Yeah, put him on Mustafar. But then their weapons wouldn't work because they just burn. I don't know. Like, it's hard, man.
We'll call it a tie then.
I'll call it a
Steven
tie.
and I are just so superior that neither of us can
So
do better
don't
than
call it a tie,
listeners,
though. I really don't.
we're sorry, listeners. We're sorry you just spent 45 minutes of your life listening to this for a tie.
Yeah,
you.
I feel bad,
Soon
man.
they're gonna look at the throwdowns. They're gonna be like, "Which one's Judge, Kevin?" Okay, I'm not listening to that one.
No, I appreciate the tie. It's better than a loss. I'll take
That's
it.
true. I
So.
feel a little bit better about it.
I'm not permitted to make that judgment anymore, though.
I feel like if you are able to use the weapons you normally would use, then I wouldn't win at all. So, but if you take, like, I don't know, is it fair to take out their weapons that are just the normal part of them?
I feel like if it gives them an extreme advantage,
Yeah,
I think
guess
yes.
then, I would have no chance.
Like in this sort of situation where like now, like since Robin Hood, it would be impossible for him to have access to those weapons on account that they weren't invented yet. I feel like
he might be able to
can
evade the
remove 'em.
tax though, maybe because he's pretty. He can
Evade the
outmaneuver his
tax?
opponent.
Like the
Like,
taxes? Of
depends,
course
like-
he does.
What?
Evade his taxes? That's what it's
No,
all
I
about.
said evade attack. Like
Oh,
he might be able to evade the tax.
I thought you said evade
Tax.
taxes as well.
tax
Oh.
evasion is
Robin Hood's
Robin
the
Hood's
king of-
specialty, man.
Robin Hood's the king of tax fraud, that's for sure, or tax evasion.
So-
But no, I meant like if Daryl threw a grenade at him, or I feel like there could be a way where Robin Hood could still get the jump on Daryl because of his
That-
ambush
In
ability.
another situation, I might have allowed for it, but since I specifically said archery was sort of
Okay,
the
I
thing,
got
then
All right, well,
it made sense to do it that way.
So
second tie. So we have,
So-
if we ever put standings if we ever put it on the website, we have 2 ties under both our names.
I'm not always thrilled about a tie, but I'm also delighted I didn't lose. But I think if you guys are cool, I'll be judge next. Is that all right?
I don't care. That's fine. It's your
Yeah, that's
turn in
fine.
the rotation.
Yeah, we're good.
And when it comes to just the 3 of us being involved anyway.
I have you want to know what my stipulation is? It's a little outside the box. It's a little different than
Mine is going to be inside the box, but it's going to be cool. But go ahead.
It's a little different than our traditional throwdowns. Okay. So I want each of you to select a team.
Okay, so I have questions about this because I knew you were going to go with this. I knew you were going to do something like this.
Whatever.
No, I really did because I had kind of the same thought process a while ago. For these teams, is there a limit to how many members are on this team? Because obviously, like the Ninja Turtles only has 4 against the X-Men. The X-Men are going to win because there's significantly more of them.
You could add Splinter and Casey Jones and Mondo Gecko and all those guys too. Leatherneck.
So
I don't think you want to add too many on the account that,
I know, I'm just kidding.
Like you have to research all these characters.
I think whatever it is, as far as numbers, I definitely don't think there should be. I want to keep it low key.
Hey, what you could do is keep it to a limit, and if your team has more than that, you just have to take the ones you want from that number.
Yeah, that could work. That's cool.
I think, like if you say 3 and there's 4 Ninja Turtles, you have to leave one of them off or whatever.
It could be
4 seems like a good number.
4, but if you have a 6, I'm not going to fault you for it. You know what I'm saying? I try and find something that has like 3 or 4, but like
you could do a range,
a little range, like somewhere between 3 and
6.
maximum 8. I'd say maximum
8.
Yeah, 7. Like maximum 7.
I feel like 3 to 5 would be.
But there's 7 is such an iconic number for teams.
Yeah, but a team of 3 is going to lose against a team of 7. They're more than doubled.
Okay.
So make it 4 to 7.
4 to 7.
What if I want to put a team together that doesn't naturally exist?
No, it has to be a team that naturally exists.
Yeah,
in the
it has to be an
whatever
actual team.
universe
You can't be like, I'm going to
man.
put Megatron with, Voltron with like. Although you could do Voltron as a team.
You can't now because you just said it, jerk.
So
but that's a team and one both at the same time.
Yeah, I think the team would be good. And I encourage you to think outside the box. We're gonna now when you do their history, I'd like you to do the history of the team altogether. We're not going to go into character specifics with this, okay? So like you can talk about how the team was formed, but I don't like if John from Team A had a hard life and he grew up on this. Like I'm kind of interested, but I want to know more about the team and how the team.
I mean, if it involves how the team got together, then maybe.
Okay, so we have a team. We kind of have to use the team as a whole.
Yes,
but that would include individual abilities, so we would have to discuss
that's
those.
fine.
But Okay.
I like now we have to do the background at the beginning. I don't want you to do a background on every character. That would be a long time. So, and also we might use some of these characters in a normal throwdown in the future. So I don't want to like take away from that.
Could it be one character that we might have already used?
Yes, and it's possible there's a character we've done already that you want to put in the team. That's fine too. It's not like they're exempt from it. But I want to focus on the team rather than the individual. And a team match. I think it's gonna be good.
All right. I think I already know what team I'm going to go with, and it's one that you guys don't know anything about, either one of you.
Excellent.
All right, everybody. So it looks like we had a little throwdown here: Robin Hood versus Daryl Dixon. I was a judge, and I have to say, as much as I didn't want to do it because it is a bit of a cop out, these two I would say were a tie. I think they were even more evenly matched as a tie than the other tie I announced. So I really couldn't find a winner in this one. Steven's stipulation, of course, he's going to be judged next, is that we have to do a team battle. So that's going to be really cool. I already got a team in mind. I don't know if David does or not. And yeah, well, I look forward to that. So listen, all you listeners out there, just thanks for listening, and we look forward to presenting our next throwdown.
Hey, if they wanted to check out our stuff, where would they go?
Why don't you tell them there, Steven? Because I know you love to do that.
I love to do that. So
you want people checking out your stuff, huh?
Oh, classic Dave with a funny joke. No, check out our website, www.brothersbornmedia.com. You can listen to all the episodes of this podcast as well as our other podcast, Brothers Born Podcast. And from there's links there. If you feel so inclined, you can send some cash money our way. Not asking a lot, but if you're interested, you can send $1 a month or $10 a month. We'll take either one. Or if you don't want to send money at all, that's fine too. We're happy just to have you hang out with us.
Or if there's some random millionaire listening to us right now, you could send $10,000 to us.
Yeah, if you wanted to. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. So, but yeah, check out our website, brothersbornmedia.com. We're also on Facebook and hoping to get on some more platforms here in the future. And I know Kevin's got a blog post in the brewing up, so look forward to that too. All right, see you guys later.
And martial arts. Martial arts. Don't forget the martial arts. Don't forget the martial arts.